Hi, everybody. Have you ever heard the phrase, when it rains, it pours? Now, it could mean rain, obviously, that comes from the sky, but usually when somebody says something like that, they're referring to it just seems like a negative thing happens, and then another negative thing happens, and then another. And it seems like it kind of sometimes piles on. You ever been there before when it just seems like one negative thing happens after another, and it just piles on and piles on, and it's just like, yeah, it started raining and now it's just coming down like crazy. You ever been in those situations too, and you just sometimes want to look up as if you're talking to God and just go, "Oh, come on." Like I can't take any more. It just seems like it just keeps piling on and I don't know what to do, and I just want to say, "Oh, come on, not another thing." Well, back in September of 2008, before you all were even born, I had a month where it just seemed like when it rains, it pours. It was one of the worst months that I've ever had. First, at the start of the month, my mom passed away after a long battle with cancer. As if that wasn't enough. I mean, that was terrible. Obviously, I miss her a lot, even to this day. Um, but you start to get over that a little bit, where you move on and you start to get back to life, and you think, okay, um, bad enough month right there. But then I get a phone call, and in the youth group that I led at the time, there were two kids whose dad suddenly passed away unexpectedly. He was a guy I knew, and I liked him a lot, and I liked the kids a lot, and that was devastating to, oh no, you got to be kidding. Just got over losing my parent, and now I've got to help these two as they've lost their parent. And if that wasn't enough, one night, not long after that, in the same month, in the middle of the night, I got a phone call. Two other kids in my youth group, their dad had had a heart attack and had been rushed to the hospital. And so I got to the hospital there in the middle of the night, and I hear that he also had passed away. And as I sat there in the waiting room that night, and I'm thinking about all that had happened that month, all these deaths, all these people affected by losses of their parents, I just kind of wanted to look up and go, "Oh, come on. Like another thing? When will this all end?" There's a story in the Bible about a guy that definitely knows what this is all about. He went through it all. His name was Job. You may have heard of him before. He has a whole book in the Bible. It's a pretty long book that is devoted to his story in this situation. His name looks like Job in our uh, language today, but it's actually pronounced Job. Well, Job was a guy that was called a very righteous man. He got along with God really well. He did all the things that he should in life, and God was very, very happy and proud of him for that. Um, but it says Job ended up going through a time that, man, it was awful. First of all, Job had, I mean, he did well. He is kind of a rich man, had a lot of things, but all of a sudden he lost everything. Things were stolen, things were destroyed of his property. So he lost all his riches. And then he had many kids, and his kids were together one day, and a windstorm came up, knocked down the building they were in, and crushed all of them, killed all of his kids in one time, at one time. He's lost everything. He's lost all his property. He's lost his kids, and then, if that wasn't enough, he ends up covered in boils. These painful boils. It says. Don't know what that's like. That may be like shingles now. I'm not really sure, but it was a very bad situation. He was in misery. I mean, you think about losing all of that and losing your health then on top of it. Oh my goodness. Talk about when it rains, it pours. And if that wasn't enough, his wife did survive all this. And you think, oh, good, he has somebody that's going to be there for him during this time. Nope. His wife looks at the condition he's in and all that's been lost and just says to him, you know what you should do? You should just curse God and maybe he'll just kill you. Thanks, honey. Great advice. Appreciate that. That's great. Now I feel like I've lost my wife. Oh, but then some friends show up. Oh, good. Maybe he'll have some friends that will be there for him during this time. And at first they are. At first they sit with him in his sadness and his misery, and you think, okay, these guys are being good friends. But then the next thing you know, when Job starts to kind of complain about his situation, and who wouldn't, these friends, instead of being like, yeah, dude, really stinks. I'm sorry you have to go through this. Instead, they start going, you know what, Job? You probably are in this situation because you sinned or you messed up or something. And so you're just being punished for all the things you did. Thanks, friends. You guys are such a support. Thanks a lot. Boy, you talk about when it rains, it pours, to lose all you have, to lose your kids, to be covered, to lose your health, and then to have your wife and your friends turn on you in that situation. Man, that is a lot to deal with. At first, though, how Job responds to this is really amazing. He's praising God and he's saying things like, you know what? God gave me all that I have and God can take it away. And you're like, wow, that's pretty incredible after you've gone through all that you have. But then Job, the longer he sits in the situation, starts to get that, oh, come on moment. And he starts to go, God, why is this happening to me? How could you let this happen to me? I mean, I thought I was doing everything right. And then all this calamity, these problems come down on me. I don't get it. I need an answer. Why is this happening? And he kind of demands an answer. And guess what? He gets one. God answers Job. But it's not like you would think. It's not like God goes, well, Job, this is exactly why this happened or whatever. And again, Job hasn't done anything wrong. He's not being punished for something. But how God answers is God comes to him and says, hey, Job, let me give you a peek at how everything is, how complicated this universe is that I put together, how amazing it is. And you know what? You really don't get it from your perspective. You don't see all these things like, where an animal gives birth or how this goes on with that, things like even where all the snow is stored and things like that. I mean, God really goes into all these things that talks about how incredible and amazing and complicated the universe is and kind of shows Job, hey, I've got it all under control and I've got it figured out. I know how everything works. I know how everything should be, and I have it under control. Do you? Do you know how complicated this is? Do you understand how complicated and amazing all this is? And he just kind of almost reassures Job, I got this. I know what's going on, and you need to trust me. And Job realizes, you're right, God. I need to trust you. I don't get all this. I don't understand everything. And as much as I don't like where I'm at right now, I do trust you that you have it under control and that you will always be there for me. And that's kind of how the story ends. Well, almost, because actually in the end, God actually gifts Job back about twice as much as he ever had before, which is a pretty awesome gift that God gave. Not because Job did anything to earn it. God just gave him that gift, as God gives everything. But isn't that amazing that God talks about all the complications of life and the complexities of life and kind of lets it be that, you know what? You don't understand everything. You don't get why all this is going on. But trust me, I do. And there is purpose. And I have this under control. So, guys, let me tell you something. You're not going to understand everything. I don't understand everything. None of us do. Sometimes we don't get it. We don't understand why bad things happen, why bad things happen to good people. We don't understand, uh, why things pile up sometimes and why we go through the things that we do. And sometimes it even may even seem like, what's the even purpose of this? I don't get it. But one thing that we can remember and one thing that we can get from the story of Job is this: God understands everything. God gets everything. God knows what's going on. And God, a lot of times, sometimes some of these things have purpose that we need to learn something out of them. And I think actually we can learn something even out of times when it doesn't seem like there's any purpose whatsoever. I think we can grow out of them. But we can always know that God has things under control. And we can always know this: God loves us dearly. God looks at each of us and he cares about our lives. And while we may not understand it, God does. And God gets it. And God will be there through anything we go through. God will be there for us and will help us through it. I've learned that in my life. I learned that from that September back in 2008 that was so rotten and so awful. I learned and grew out of that time. And I know it's because God was with me, God had it under control, and God was going to teach me new things, even in difficult times. So hang in there. If you're going through tough times, if you're feeling like, man, when it rains, it pours, is like my life right now, hang in there and know God loves you. God gets it. God has it under control, and he'll make you better because of it.